Put us up. Well, I would like to officially open the meeting today. Thank you very much for attending. We're looking forward to a very interesting presentation today. I think the world is talking about artificial intelligence, Apple intelligence, and I think there are daily new developments. And this is constant evolution. And I think our organization is extremely interested in this evolution. And I think we should be very grateful to Chita that she shares with us her own experience, and that should become a very interesting presentation. So with that, I like Mike Wozniak to talk to us about this event and what's going on in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eckhart. Well, a very good morning. And as usual, a few announcements before we pass the meeting over to Chita. As usual, I've set up a thread for today's meeting. So if you have any comments or questions after the event today, please use the thread. It's just for good housekeeping. It just keeps everything together. So it's up there on the message board if you need it. And on the subject of the message board, as I'm sure you all know, unless you're living in a cave, some pretty big changes have taken place to the NMUG message board over the past couple of weeks. Following our poll, Dan did a huge amount of work to the message board, I think even to the point of actually discussing our needs with the developer of a plugin that we'd not previously used. And you can now use our message board in exactly the same way as groups.io. In other words, you can receive and send from your mail on your Mac, which is fantastic. So there's information about that on the message board. If you want to learn more, Dan's created this 7-minute video, which has all the information in it. But we're also going to run another website event on Saturday, December the 7th at 10 a.m. When we'll be discussing our website in general, but in particular, paying a lot of attention to the message board and the facilities. And it's incredible what a change has happened over the past 4 weeks. As I'm sure you've all experienced, the website is really fast now compared to a month or two ago. And the message board is absolutely whipping along. So much to enjoy. We hope you'll come along. That's additional meeting, Saturday, December 7th, 10 a.m. Next meeting, Christian Boyce is back. Hurrah. And he's going to be... I hope delighting us, I'm sure delighting us with a collection of Mac apps and tips that he's discovered in recent months. And he promises something for everyone. So that's same time, same place, next Wednesday. And with that, just remains for me to welcome Chita. And Chita will be acting both as moderator and speaker today. So good luck with that, Chita. And it's all yours. I'll just stop my share. Oh, you're muted.
All right. Can you please mute everyone, please? And then I'll unmute myself again.
Yep, sure.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you do have questions, put them in the chat. We will get to them if we can. There's a lot that I want to cover today. So what I would like if you could hold your questions, but if you can't, just put them in the chat. We'll see if we can get to them. Today, there's the big talk about AI. And AI has been around for a long time. It's actually been called machine learning. It's been called other things. What I want to show you today is how I have used AI in my work or my training with the Adobe apps. I primarily use the Adobe apps. And I want to show you some of the newly improved features, some old existing features that are just awesome. and some of the things that were released by Adobe within the last 10 days. So machine learning has really given you, if you work with apps, the ability to do things a lot faster than you have been able to do them in the past. And I'm actually going to show you something that I could not do last year that I could actually do today. A year to the day, who knew? So when you're doing things like compositing, machine learning can help you. When you're doing things that are challenging, that used to take hours, now take minutes. So that's what I want to go over and cover. My examples to you today are going to be short and sweet. I'm really not going to do anything involved, but at the very end, I want to get you involved in something that we're going to do. And before we begin, I think it's really important to talk about what has gone on with AI and image generation in the last maybe year or so. And that is that some entities have decided that they want to scrape the web, mine the web for content that has either been put out in the public through social media sites or even use copyrighted material. That is not what Adobe does. And I'll give you a document that has links where you can read what has been done. But Adobe uses either licensed content that is no longer copyrighted, or in that regard for how their engine, which is called Firefly, generates content when you make your own images. So that's really a short list of what I want to show you. I want to jump right into it. And with that, I am going to share my screen. Do you see a flower?
Yes.
Okay, I love flowers. All right. So my quandary was really where to start. What I want to show you is some of the things that used to take a long time. For example, masking. Masking is isolating the foreground from the background. In this image, I could do that. And I thought, could I start with this image? Could I start with an image like this one? But I ended up deciding to start with this image here, because this image is a little bit of a hot mess when it comes to the foreground and the background. So this is something that is new to Lightroom. And again, masking, isolating areas so that you can then work on those areas. So I'm going to come over here to the tool area, and I'm going to select the masking icon. And the masking icon gives me several choices. I can select subject, sky, or background. Well, I'm going to just quickly select subject. It's going to analyze this image, and it gives you, or gives me, an idea of what it's going to select. It messes up a little bit in this background, getting part of the background. So I'm going to undo that and try again. And this time I'm going to go for the background. Click on background, it's going to isolate. And it does a pretty good job, but it misses here and it misses there. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to show you a really new great feature. Instead of selecting subject or background, I'm going to come here and select the Objects tool. The Objects tool then brings up the masking panel, and I'm just going to drag around what I consider to be the edge of this bloom. Now, previously in a different life, if I wanted to select that, I would actually have to make little selections around every bud. I'd still be doing it. But look at how that tool selected the edges perfectly, even better than the background and the subject tool did. So with that, I am going to just come up here. I'm going to rename this Bloom. And now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to create another mask. So create, select the same tool. I'm going to drag around that same area. It's going to create. And this time I'm going to tell it to invert. It's going to invert. And now it's selected the background. I'm going to rename this background. And if you see something that I do that you like, let me know. If you think it's pretty cool, let me know. I know all of you don't use Adobe apps, but just seeing some of this stuff is pretty amazing. So that's where I'm coming from. So now I have a background, and I'm going to edit the background just a little bit, and I'm going to turn off the overlay so that you can see what's going on. I'm going to just drop the exposure and just give it a little tone. And now I'm going to click on the bloom, and I'm going to just bring that up a little bit. Again, nothing particularly great about this image, but I was very quickly able to go from here to here in a matter of minutes, where it would have taken a very long time previously. So that's image 1. And now I'm going to go to image 2. Image 2 is an affair that was on my bucket list. I enjoyed this day where I got to ride in a hot air balloon with other balloons in the air. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly go back over to the toolbox. I'm going to crop this image. Let's bring the sky down a little bit. And I'm also going to rotate it so I can straighten it out just a little bit. All right. So with that, what I'd like to do is select these balloons. Now, previously, I would have to circle each balloon to select it and then mask it and then to brighten it out. All right, I'm going to go back over to the masking tool, and I'm going to select objects again and just make outlines. And I'm drawing with a trackball. So this is like one of the fattest pencils I could possibly have to work with. And I'm just dropping color over them. And it selects almost all of them. So I'm going to come up here to the masking icon. I'm going to select add and object again. I'm going to just draw with that. And that was pretty fat. That might select more than I want, which it did. And I'm going to keep adding the areas that I want. And this one, now that one's selected. And now I'm going to add one more. And sometimes when I draw over them, if I'm a little slower in what I'm doing, it selects all the balloons in one shot. And I'm going to just subtract this little area right here. Okay, so now I have my balloons masked. What do I want to do? Coming over to the edit, I'm just going to increase the exposure just a little bit. You can see I can brighten it to unrealistic expectations, but I'm going to increase the exposure, increase the contrast, and that's all I'm going to do there. I'm going to create another mask, and this is going to be a linear gradient. I'm going to drag that from the top down to the sky, darken the sky just a little bit. So with that, I've gone from this to that. And all I wanted to do is brighten the balloons. So again, that's something that would have taken a long time to do. And now it's pretty quick and pretty easy to do. Another example, excuse me, is how you can take the color cast out of images. Now, look, right here, right here. As soon as I open this image, Lightroom analyzes it, and it detected that there's a person in this image. So if you have more than one person, it would actually have more than one little icon here of the different people that it detects. So it detected that there's a person, and it automatically put a mask over that person. My issue here is that there is a green color cast over this person's face that I want to get rid of. So Lightroom analyzed and detected there was a person there. I'm going to click on this icon of person 1, and it's going to analyze it again. And now it's noticed, well, here's the skin, here's the body skin, here are the eyebrows, the eye sclera, pupils, iris, lips, hair, clothes. Very quickly, it did this without me having to do anything. That's machine learning. So what I